Welcome back to the Underdog Podcast. Today we have another episode of Behind the Business. So the last episode that we did for Behind the Business was really about production day and ultimately finally getting our finished product in our hands. Really spending time figuring out how we want to launch the product, marketing strategies and campaigns that we wanted to pursue in the coming weeks and upon launch of the product. So today we're going to talk about actually taking the product to market, sort of the adversities that we faced, and really our initial plan for moving forward on launch day and the weeks subsequently to really catch some traction, build some urgency, I guess, first of all, before we actually took the product to market, which we did fairly well, in my opinion. We had a good amount of customers on launch day. And then from there, it was just creating the funnels, right? Like advertising campaigns, retargeting people through social media, through Google, and ultimately to start to build this community of not just customers, but athletes, right? Like that's our target market. That's who we wanted to really capture and bring this product to. So, Dylan, I'll let you give your 2 cents on your initial thoughts from coming back from Georgia when we really started to hit the ground on the marketing side of things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was super exciting. I think we were still kind of riding that high of like, okay, we had production day and now we have a real product and we were like gearing up for the launch. So, like that whole kind of 2 week window from producing on September 24th to launching on the 12th was just like this high and anticipation of like, okay, like it's finally going to be available. I remember we each flew back with a case, I believe, right from CMC. So we each had like one case of strawberry lemonade. I remember bringing it into the room with the boys because obviously they all knew I was gone that weekend, and they're all trying it. You know, it's like super exciting. It was like we have a real product now. So that was so much fun, and to be able to like bring it back and be like, okay, like like here, this is what we've been working on. Like this is what's taken all this time. So that was just super cool to be able to finally bring something back to show. And then, yeah, I mean, October 12th rolled around in a real hurry. We had to get through the microbial testing, which obviously was fine. It was just a matter of, getting it done and waiting for it. And then a couple weeks later, the shipment arrives at your doorstep on an 18 wheeler. I wish I was there for that, but we were. Now, how did that work, Joe? Because obviously I was at LIU, and did you come home from Skidmore to deal with that, or
Oh
how
yeah,
did that work?
yeah, yeah. So I was about 3.5, 4 hours away at Skidmore at the time, so I wasn't at UNE yet. And basically, let me back this up just a little bit too, because this is just kind of like the whole scheduling thing was the most important for us. I mean, even
Our
yeah, like
classic
production day,
piece.
yeah, like production day was super tight with the schedule, but really the whole grand scheme of things, we were like, okay, we're gonna launch on October 12th, based on our production day being September 24th, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But initially, it was going to be before that, so we'd have a little bit more time to really create some urgency and all that kind of stuff. That's why it was a sprint, right? Like we were in Georgia, we had to get a photo shoot because we needed content to start to build that urgency for the marketing side of things. And I mean, it all worked out. We had about like that 2 week window where we had product, we had the photo shoot on our hands that we could really start to push it and build some awareness around it. But yeah, so basically, it was crazy because the guy, it's an 18 wheeler showing up. I don't think he realized it was a residential address. And it was like, I couldn't believe like how much, I couldn't really put the pieces together like in my head of how much inventory it actually was, like based on the production that we did. And it was a lot. We'll have to post the video of the product sitting in my driveway before we started to warehouses and inventory it and everything like that. But it was funny, but it
Well,
was
I guess
also
just to
like
put it
surreal.
in perspective too, for like those who don't know, so the first run was 2,000 gallons. So with us doing 12-ounce cans, we ended up yielding a little less than we anticipated with the whole catastrophe with the damaged
Yeah.
cans, but it was right around 1,600 cases. Now they're packed in 12 packs, so like just to visualize that, I believe it was what, Joe, like 8 pallets, 7 pallets?
Yeah, something like that. Which
Because originally
took a
we had
long
what,
time.
six? Oh yeah, we had what, 6 full pallets in your basement, I believe, at one point.
Yeah.
But I forget exactly how big, like how many cases on a pallet CMC was packing compared to Noble now. But yeah, it was about 1,600 cases of UD,
Yeah.
which is hard to conceptualize until it's sitting on your driveway.
Legit. Yeah. It took about probably four hours or so to get everything. And the unfortunate thing is like if things were set up properly with like the basement door and everything like that, we would have been able to put the pallets right through on there. But we had to take each case and unload it, walk it probably about 20 yards or so to where we're
Yeah.
putting the product, and it was just case by case, case by case, case by case. And it was me and my dad, so hats off to my dad too because he helped me out with that. But that's really just like a testament of the beginnings of starting something, right? Like you have to have a shoestring budget. You can't like be like, okay, we're gonna get a warehouse now and spend $2,000 a month. And it's also about geographical location too. Like Massachusetts is more expensive than just about anywhere else in the country to have any sort of property. So getting a warehouse, like we already looked into it prior to that, and I was like, we just can't manage that. $2,000, $2,500 a month just wouldn't make sense. So we were like, let's just make this
Yeah.
work for now. And you know, um, we could have done a 3PL, third party logistics company from the start too, but it loses that personalized touch of okay, adding marketing materials and maybe like written notes and letters and stuff like that, which we've since expanded into the 3PL to help us fulfill those because we had like 15 pallets or something from this last run, which is just wouldn't fit. Um, but uh, but yeah, that was a crazy experience first of all, and it was also just like kind of it was improv. It was improvisation, like just working on your feet. How are we going to make this work? How are we going to be able to store this product? And you know, thankfully we had a 2 year window because we really didn't know how much we were going to move right off the bat. Um, and but yeah, and I think we've made it work pretty well so far, and we're shooting for that. Just so you guys know too, like to have our first warehouse office space by this coming summer, to be able to not just have office space, but to house inventory and fulfill orders on our own, so we can continue that personalized touch for online orders.
Yeah. I mean, it was that whole process. I remember, I wish I could have been there, but obviously it just wasn't going to work out. But I remember that going down, which was just totally crazy. But like you said, it's a
Yeah,
testament to starting something. Like that's how it is, and that's what you need to be prepared for if you're looking to do something like this. And I mean, you look back at those old pictures that you always see of like Amazon or Microsoft, and it's like starting in the garage. Like that's exactly
yeah,
how this was. And we have the HQ and the modified HQ on Pool Street, but it just shows like humble beginnings, where you start, where things can lead. Okay, now we're working with a 3PL. Someday we're gonna have our own warehouse. Like the you slowly start to climb that ladder of progression. So it was cool to see. And then I guess to
yeah.
jump forward to launch day, October 12th, rolled around rather quickly and went live. So why don't you walk us through a little bit of that and what was going through your mind on launch day?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, launch day really starts like 3 weeks before, in terms of preparation. Because if you just launch without any notification prior or any urgency built or awareness, it's like it's gonna flop, right? There's not really people aren't gonna like, oh my God, what is this new? You know what I mean? Like it takes time to, it's just like the ad funnels, right? Like creating advertising campaigns, like they have to see it multiple times before they take action on an ad or something like that. So, I remember our first content for UD Energy, I think, was when I was on vacation down in North Carolina,
Mm.
where posting the picture of the can, which was just a sample sent to us um, from the canning company that we're using, and that was all we had for at that time before we had that content shoot. So, really spent that 3 week period setting up the website, getting everything all squared away on email campaigns, how often we wanted to send newsletters, what we wanted to send in the newsletters, and obviously paired with that is like the social media side of things. What kind of message do we want to send with our content, which is it's an ever changing process, right? Like you figure out what works. We started off with something back then, it was predominantly just static images. Like it wasn't like we had many videos going on then. Now we incorporate the videos like every third post. Sometimes, we have more videos going than photos because it gets more engagement. So like all those things are things you have to consider when you launch the product. And knowing what we know now, I think we would have done things differently when we launched the product. But as everybody always says, like the cliche, hindsight's always 2020. That's true. But you work with what you have at the time, and like we've said on previous episodes, you just take action and you figure out as you go. But yeah, fast forward to launch day. I believe, we launched that morning, and you send out the newsletter campaign. I believe at the time we probably had close to 1,000 newsletter subscribers just built up over the years from clothing and all that kind of stuff. So that was an initial launch initiative. And I believe launch day, we came in just under $1,000, or the first 2 days we came in just under $1,000, which was cool to see, because
Mhm.
I still remember, when we first launched in 2019, like getting that first sale through the website. It was like a surreal moment. And now it's just kind of like a second nature thing. Like orders come in, it's like, okay, you get to work, you package the orders, you send them out, you put in all the marketing materials you need. But it's cool each step of the way. I think it's a very exciting. I don't think exciting is enough of a word to describe it. It's more like exhilarating experience on launch day, because you're all excited. Like you don't know what the response is really going to be. But I think, obviously, fast forward to now, we've obviously gotten great feedback overall, allowing us to, take this thing to market next week, on Monday. So, but yeah, launch day it was tricky too, because I think we realized how much work we had to do, and how
Mhm.
much was going to go into it, and ultimately, we started to run into that conflict fairly quickly. We realized that shipping 12-pack cases is a difficult scenario, for us. It's shipping costs are very expensive for anything that holds weight. A 12-pack case is about 10 pounds. And, that's at the time it was between like $10 and $15 a case for shipping, which is just like
Mhm.
absurd. And we've been
It's
able to lower our
outrageous.
costs since then. But, that is a whole, that's what I mean by working on your feet, right? Like those things you don't realize, you don't necessarily, uh, not that we didn't consider it, but to that degree that it would affect a customer's decision to buy a product online, right? And that was when we started really hammering, okay, how can we build awareness around this product? And that was when we started thinking about, okay, partnerships.
Mhm.
I mean, even then we were flirting with Amazon, thinking about that. And it's really just a constant back and forth brainstorm. We've said this before, and I can't reiterate it enough. It's just like constantly putting ideas out there. Okay, how can you improve this? Find out what's not working, and find solutions for it. Not just letting this broken funnel continue to go, because that's how you lose traction. So
Yeah, I really feel it was like launch day was twofold in a sense that okay, we had the online side of things officially go live on the 12th, but it was like as soon as we had product, then it was like we started ripping POS sales, like point of sale,
yep.
in person, like to teammates, to kids at school. I mean, we were in college, so it was a great, you're in the perfect setting for, being around people of your age and the same demographic. Like, I mean, shit, the drink's designed for college athletes, and we're both on college campuses. Like, it was the perfect opportunity. So yeah, there's the whole online side of things with the website and the newsletter and email campaigns and all that, and then there was the in-person side of things like networking, meeting with gyms, and I think that immediately became something that we obviously prioritized right off the bat. Meeting gyms, getting in for samplings. I think we really learned how important samplings are, and just engaging with customers firsthand. Like that is by far the most effective. If you want to call it like word of mouth marketing, just being in front of people and engaging with them and telling them our story, telling them about the product. Like we see it time and time again. That's been by far the most effective method for really getting through to someone about what we're trying to do. So I remember when we launched too, like then it was okay, let's reach out to, this is a potential contact, this is a potential contact, let's reach out to them. The gens were one of our first ones. I think hell, like, we were kind of like, wow, this is going really well because the
Yeah.
gens were one of our largest customers. I guess for those who don't know, the Northeast Generals are former junior team that Joey and I played for when we met. Um, they immediately placed an order. I mean, we both had great relationships with Bob, the owner, and obviously Brian, the coach. Until still to this day, they turn out to be one of our biggest customers. So that really helped us off the bat. Like, all of a sudden we're a couple weeks into this thing and we're moving 20 case orders. We're like, wow, like this is awesome.
Mhm.
So there's that side of things, and reaching out to former gyms that we've trained at, trainers going into new ones cold in the area, and just trying to get, okay, take a couple cases on. We'll be here to sample it. We really want to form a partnership, and just that whole process, like it really became real in a
Yeah.
real hurry. So it was a lot going on at once, and then at the same time, we're still trying to juggle being full-time students and college athletes. Like it was busy, um,
Yeah.
but we wouldn't have it any other way. So I think it was a fun time, and I mean it still is. We're still in that process, but now it's just been taken up a notch. We look back, okay, that
Mhm.
was sophomore year. Here we are senior year, or heading into our senior year, and now we're launching into our first retail chain, and we have 40 plus retail accounts throughout different states in Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. So the game has really just been elevated over the last couple of years and taken up a notch, and it's just going to continue to go that way. But it's
Yeah.
been fun.
Yeah. And I think like the other part of it too, just to so people can understand and conceptualize like the adaptability that we had to have, because our initial focal point was getting into gyms and getting gyms to take on our product, which is a very long and tedious process, because more often than not, these private gyms, like the owner's doing everything. He's coaching, he's ordering product, he's setting up schedules, all that kind of stuff. So first of all, it's tough to get a meeting with any of these people and hear back
Yeah.
from them. And the other thing that we did, not that we didn't realize it, but it was something that we had to consider, was people that go into a gym, more often than not, they're not really buying an energy drink when they get on site. They're walking in with their energy drink. So that was first and foremost, conflict that we had to overcome. And the other
It
thing
was
is
something
people
that we
going into a
learned
gym.
along the way.
Yeah. And the second thing is people going into a gym, they're not in a buying mindset, right? They're going there to work out. And so that was, something and our sales director Danny, she helped us a lot with this and kind of refocus where we wanted to allocate our resources. Like we instead from there we spent our time going to convenience stores door to door and selling, like Dylan was saying, like POS, like selling a case here, a case there, a couple cases, and getting into the stores where people are in a conscious buying mindset, which obviously helped us a lot because now, like you said, I think we were at probably 65 retail
Mm.
locations now, when you consider all convenience stores and gyms and stuff like that. So, and it's not that gyms aren't a focal point anymore, because we do have partnerships with gyms, but we re-strategize on, okay, so our biggest hindrance with working with a gym is how often they're ordering and if they're going to order. So instead, we took the relationship building approach of bringing in contracts to um, conversation. So contracting out 6 months. So you get a gym to commit to 6 months of maybe it's 2 cases a month, or we've had some at 7 cases a month. And that was beneficial for us because it gives us time to build that relationship, go in and do some samplings, build more awareness around the product, and that helped in that degree. And I can say that, working with gym owners and stuff like that is really cool because they have the same mindset as you
Mhm.
in terms of fitness and bringing more health to their clientele. And I can't say the same about convenience stores because they really don't care. They just care about moving the product. So there's benefits to both sides, but I think we've definitely figured out how to approach both, and it's a constant refining process. Like we're always changing things, thinking of new ideas to help those relationships with gym owners and also move volume out the door at both gyms and stores. So it's been quite the process so far.
Yeah, I was just gonna say too, it's rewarding working with the gyms because, like you said, they have the same mindset, and I felt with working with gym owners and gym management as a whole, it was more of a relationship. Like we wanted to add value to them and their members. We wanted to provide them with one, another stream of income because yes, at the end of the day, they're making money off it. But two, to provide their customers with something worth consuming. Like, we're, yes, it's a business, but at the same time, we're doing it for a reason aside from just making money. Like, we want to provide people with a product that they can trust, a product they know that's going to be effective. And we want to provide that to as many gym goers as we could. And that's why working with the gyms was like fun in a way and more rewarding in, like you said, the convenience owners. A lot of them, it's a business. It's just about money. They just want to know the price. They don't care what's in it. They don't care your story. They don't care who you are, that sort of thing. They just want to move product. Where, I use Foley's as an example because, we've done probably 4 or 5 samplings there, and their staff has been great. And it really is a relationship and a partnership. Like, you come in and Mike Foley, the owner, comes out every time without fail to chat. How are things going? Oh, that's good. How's the team? How's school going? Like, he wants to know who you are and how you're doing, and not just, is your product selling in my gym, which is fun, and
Yeah.
it makes it, way more enjoyable to go back there. And those are the people that you really want to help. So I love working with the gyms, and